Thank you so much to Shopify for sponsoring today's video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here and I'm so glad you clicked on today's video. I don't think I've done a dedicated book haul video literally at all this year. I don't think I've sat down once this year and filmed a book haul. It's crazy that we haven't sat down and done this in a while, and as you can see, I have a ton of books here to share with you guys. These are all books that have been sent to me from publishers, authors. These are books from book subscriptions that I'm a part of. Some of the books are books that I've recently bought from Barnes & Noble. For the most part, these are all brand new books, and I actually just got a big package yesterday and a big package today of books that I've just been waiting for. They were pre-orders and I am like ecstatic that they're finally here, and I'm excited that I can include them in this video. I counted, there's over 50 books in this haul, so grab a snack, grab a drink, sit back, relax. We're gonna hop right into it. It's been 7 months since my last book haul video. That's absolutely not right. That's just not okay. I feel like so many of you found me through my book haul videos. It was either book haul videos or like bookstore videos. You know what? Comment down below how you found my channel. What video brought you to me? I'm really curious to know. Come such a long way, guys. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so happy to be here. We've done so much in the past however long I've been doing YouTube. It's been some years. It's been some time. We've grown such a fun and loving little community over here that I'm just so incredibly grateful for. Really quick though, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the sponsor of today's video, which is Shopify. Shopify is a commerce platform that allows you to start, grow, and manage your business. Big lover of Shopify. Obviously, I run Ray of Happiness on it. A year and a half ago, I started Ray of Happiness, and you guys have been so supportive and loving and just so sweet. In the beginning though, I was so nervous about starting my own business because I really didn't know like what went into starting a business, managing a business. Luckily, I started with Shopify because they provide so many amazing resources to small business owners such as myself that are usually provided to bigger companies. I'm such a big advocate for chasing your dreams. I tell you guys all the time in all my videos, if you want to start a YouTube channel, start that YouTube channel. If you want to start a clothing brand, do it. There is no better time than right now to start chasing your dreams. So if you have a dream, or if you just want to start up that side hustle you've been thinking about, Shopify is literally the place to go. The main reason why I chose to start my business on Shopify is because they literally make it so easy to set up and get started. Obviously, the main thing is your website, and Shopify actually provides really aesthetic website templates that you can use and build off of. On top of that though, you're also able to use a simple drag and drop store editor. Makes life so easy. They have easy to use marketing tools so you can market your business to the world, and they have a back office that oversees all of your operations. You're also able to link social media accounts, which is a feature I really like to use. I sell my products on Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and it honestly makes such a big difference. So if you have a dream and you want to join me and millions of other businesses around the world in using Shopify and starting your own business, you can go to shopify.com/AlexaRaye to start your free trial. There's no better time than right now to chase your dreams. So this is your sign. With that being said though, we are gonna hop right into this massive book haul. Now that I'm hydrated, we have 50 plus books to go through. That's a lot of books to talk about, and you guys know, your girl's a talker. You know I could sit here for over an hour talking to you guys about these books. I'm gonna try and keep it simple, minimalistic, easy for you guys, and I'm gonna try not to bore you too much. So we're quickly going to go through the books. I'm gonna tell you guys, to the best of my knowledge, what I know about them, why I got them, stuff like that. We're just gonna have a fun time and talk about books. We're gonna start with this gorgeous book series. This was a pre-order from the brand Afterlight. Absolutely stunning books. I have never read these before, but I've heard incredible things, and it's a series that I do want to start. Afterlight came out with special editions, and guys, these are probably I don't want to say they're the prettiest, but I feel like they are the prettiest special editions, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Business Casual, I want to say, is the newest book that came out recently. These are by B.K. Borson, by the way, and this is a fallish type of romance. Look at this hardcover. I'm just in awe of this. I think it is so beautiful. The inside artwork, adorable. It makes me so excited. This is absolutely stunning. Lovelight Farms is a Christmassy type of romance, and this was the first book to come out in the series, giving off all of the snowy winter vibes. I'm obsessed with it. I have heard incredible things about this series from other people that I trust with book recs. I have no doubt in my mind that I will devour these books. I know they're gonna be so much fun. The second book that came out is In the Weeds. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I just think these are some of the prettiest covers I think I've ever gotten, and I'm such a sucker for sprayed edges that are like flowers. I think they are just the prettiest. And then the third book is Mixed Signals, and this is so stinking cute, guys. I love the picnic that we're getting on the front here. So beautiful. I'm so excited for this series. I have been waiting for it for the past few months, I want to say, and now that I have them, I'm just so excited about it. And then they all also take place in a small town, and the small town trope is one of my favorites when it comes to reading romance. Next up, we have the Langston Brothers Duet. This is by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is a special edition from Eternal Embers. Such a great book subscription platform if you're not familiar. This is one of the books I received from them. I have actually never heard of this before. I don't think I'm familiar with this author either. Just off the cover though, you can tell it's giving off mountain vibes. I'm assuming it's probably going to be another small town type of trope. The Langston brothers, it's obviously about brothers, probably two, I would assume. I'm a sucker for really beautiful covers. I'm definitely one of those people who sees a beautiful book and will be like, okay, I'm gonna read that book because the cover is so beautiful. I'm only just a girl, guys. I'm only just a girl. Next up, we have Crossroads by Devney Perry. This is part of the Haven River Ranch series. This is a special edition that I received from Probably Smut Book Club, and this is actually one of the first hardcover editions I received from them. Usually they do paperbacks, but for some reason they're kind of getting into hardcovers now, which is really cool. Devney Perry is an author I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with the Eden series. This is part of another one of her series, and again, she's another author who writes a lot of small town romances. I feel like right now, being in the summertime and also living where I live, it's the perfect time to get into like small town cowboy romances. I feel like the vibes would just be immaculate right now. This series though is her newest series, and it's a small town romance. I believe it takes place in Montana, and I think it revolves around two people who were childhood best friends. Like they were really close growing up, and then I think something crazy happens and one of them ends up leaving and then returning back to the ranch years later as its new owner. I feel like this is gonna be really fun because I'm kind of sensing a little bit of a second chance in here, also sensing a little bit of an enemies to lovers possibly. Next up, we have Unsteady by Peyton Corin. This is a cutie little hockey romance. I believe this is a romance between a hockey player and a figure skater. I believe our MMC gets hurt pretty bad, and he is returning back to the rink for the first time in a little bit after his injury. He's supposed to be like the best of the best, legendary hockey player, and then our FMC is struggling to get out of debt. She's struggling with a custody battle, and then aside from all of that, she's also a figure skater who is practicing every day, trying to stay focused. Obviously, it's a lot of hard work. I really enjoyed Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. That was also a romance between a figure skater and a hockey player, so I feel like I'm really gonna like this dynamic. We have this Sinners Duet by Sophie Lark. This is also from Eternal Embers, and they did a collab with Larry Reeds, which is one of my favorite YouTubers to watch. I'm a huge Sophie Lark girly. I love dark romance written by Sophie Lark. I think she is so good at it. It's addicting, fast-paced, it's fun, it's action-packed. I am so excited to read this because I've wanted to read it for a really long time, and then I saw saw they were doing a collab with Larry Reed's and I was so excited for this. This is the Pretty edition. The man who never cared about anyone is fixated on the girl nobody cares about. In some twisted way, we're made for each other. What I really love about Eternal Embers is their artwork is just always like my favorite. I just think it's so pretty. And then I also was really excited because I didn't realize the books were coming signed. So cool that I have a book signed by Sophie Lark because she's one of my favorites. Then along with the Larry Reed's collaboration, they also did Binding 13 and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. These are the favorite books that I've read so far this year, and I honestly think the Boys of Tommen series are taking first place for my favorite romances of all time. These are so beautiful. If you've never read the Boys of Tommen series, I could not recommend it enough. They are very heavy type of reads. They're emotional. In the midst of it all, there's the most beautiful romance I think I have ever read about, and I am just obsessed with these characters and these stories. These books will have you sobbing. They make you feel so many different emotions throughout them, and something I really enjoyed about these books and Chloe Walsh's writing in general is the way she writes about these really sensitive topics. They are just so realistic, and I think she did a beautiful job at showcasing these really scary things that happen to Shannon and Johnny. Not to mention they take place in Ireland. They kind of revolve around rugby. They're so fun. They're big books, but the stories are just so worth it. By the time you finish these books, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I wish they were longer. Johnny is the star rugby player at his school, and he's basically guaranteed to go pro once he graduates. And then Shannon is the new quiet girl in school. She's very timid because she had a really bad experience at her previous school, and the way her and Johnny meet is so cute. They have the funniest yet craziest meet cute, and their whole story is just amazing. Their story continues in book 2, which is Keeping 13, and what I love about these covers are all the little Easter eggs that you read about inside the books. Every little patch is significant in the story, and I really think they did such a good job on these editions. Next up, we have Off to the Races and a photo finish by Elsie Silver. These are the first 2 books in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and they're also the new covers that are being rolled out by Bloom, which is really cool. I like the look of these a lot more than the indie ones. Elsie Silver is one of my favorite authors. She's another amazing small town trope writer, but also queen of writing cowboy romances. She just writes them so good. But this series actually takes place before the Chestnut Spring series, so I wanted to start picking them up now. Then we have Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I actually already read this book. This is book 2 to Powerless, which I'm sure most of you have probably heard of, if not read. This was so good. I love both books. Powerless definitely gives off Hunger Games vibes. If you loved the Hunger Games, you'll most likely love Powerless, because I feel like the romance in Powerless was a little bit more fun and exciting compared to the Hunger Games. Book 2 is so much fun. We have Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. This is book 2 in the Lakefront Billionaire series. This is about a story of a single dad falling in love with his nanny. The son in this story, his character is so adorable and sweet and wholesome. You really feel for him. I feel like this is another one of those reads that could be a little bit emotional just because of the things that kind of happen in it. This is a really good one though. Lauren Asher, another one of my favorite authors. We have This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threads. These are both by Tara Mafi, and they are part of her newest series that is actually based off of like Persian mythology, which I think is really cool. She's the author of the Shatter Me series, which love the Shatter Me series, one of my favorite series ever. So much fun stuff happens in that series. I have just always loved her writing style so much. I also think it's really cool that it's Persian mythology inspired. Basically, it's about a girl who is a servant in a kingdom that actually belongs to her. She's like in hiding basically, and it ends up being a romance between her and I believe the the current prince. She's trying to take back the kingdom or something like that under his nose, and I think they end up falling for one another. I don't know because I haven't read these books yet, but from my understanding, I'm pretty sure there's a romance between the two of them, and I just know it's gonna be crazy because it's Teramafi. Next up, we have Across the Line. This is by Simone Sultani, I believe. This is a brand new F1 cutie little romance. This is the special edition from Afterlight. Obsessed with the edges. I mean, come on. This is probably one of the coolest ones I think I have ever seen. Right away, it's kind of reminding me of the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher. That was the first time I had ever read anything about F1, but love the hardcover. The little details are so cute. I love the little camera on here. That's adorable. And then the inside artwork is also just really, really cool. Our MMC is named Dev Anderson, and he's a F1 driver who basically gets into a messy type of scandal, I think, on social media, and he basically needs someone to help him clean up his reputation so he doesn't lose his dream career. He finally finds someone who he thinks can really help him, but it ends up being his best friend's little sister, so it's gonna be a romance between them. I don't read a lot of best friend sister romances or best friend brother romances, but I love that trope, and I think it's always such a fun time. Next up, we have The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. This is just a cutie little baseball romance. I randomly saw it at Target a few weeks ago, and I picked it up because I love, love, love baseball. Our FMC is Daphne, and she basically knows nothing about baseball. She basically ends up going to a baseball game with friends or something, and after having like a few too many beers, she starts calling out this one player on the field, kind of like heckling him. I think he ends up like crying or something like that. Daphne is quickly mortified. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible human. So she immediately goes home and reaches out to the baseball player on social media, but when he replies to her, he doesn't recognize her as his heckler, and they start talking and getting to know each other. But the closer they get, the more Daphne feels weird because she feels like she's the one who made him cry that day, but in reality, our MMC Chris actually is going through like a really hard time in the story, and I think that's probably the reason why he like broke a little bit that day. So I think it's gonna be a really fun and cute little baseball romance. Next up, we have Honeycut by Sierra Simone. This is part of the Leonese trilogy, and I actually got sent this book from Bloom, which was so cool because I have been eyeing it for quite some time. This just sounds like a roller coaster. I think it's a love triangle if I'm remembering correctly. Basically, the story starts out with our two main characters, and they end up in like an arranged marriage, but our one character starts actually falling for the bodyguard and then falling for her husband at the same time. So I think there's like a love triangle in here, and it's also giving off like dark and twisted vibes. So I feel like this is gonna be really cool, really fun. We have Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is part of the Covenant series, and this is also sent to me by Bloom, which is really, really cool. Love the sprayed edges. I believe this is like a witchy type of fantasy. 17-year-old Alex and her mother have spent years on the run from the Covenant. Something crazy happens, and Alex ends up back with them, and because she spent so much time running away from them, she fell behind in all of her training. So she starts trying to catch up in it, and the person volunteering to train her and catch her up is Aiden. He's a pureblood, and I think they start sparking up a little romance in here, but purebloods and half-bloods are like forbidden to be together, I think. I feel like this is gonna be really fun because we're getting a little bit of a forbidden romance in here. Next up, we have Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I have had these books for a little bit. I feel like I showed them to you guys in like a different video from earlier this year, but I wanted to include them in today's video just because they are so beautiful. I am obsessed with these covers, and the spines are so cute. The backs are so cute. These books are also by Eternal Embers, and Abby Jimenez is one of those authors that everyone raves about. I'm really excited to get into these. I actually started Yours Truly, I think in the beginning of this year, and then I realized that I have to read Part of Your World first because they take place in the same universe. I also love the back of Yours Truly because this dog looks just like Osiris, and it makes me so happy. We have Call It What You Want by Alyssa Durgadas. This was sent to me by the publisher recently. Already, I love the pink vibes. You guys know I'm a sucker for a cute pink cover. A situationship, a heartbreak, a mistake. You can call it what you want, but was it love? Then we have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. Everybody is talking about this book and raving about it, so I am so excited to read it. There was a book I tried to read of hers like a year ago and I couldn't really get into it, so I've kind of been like a little bit nervous to start it, but a lot of people are saying that they enjoyed it and that it's a really fun and cute romance. So our FMC in this is Eileen, and she basically goes through like a very traumatic, almost marriage type of situation. She basically gets left at the altar or something and decides to take off in her car, and then she ends up running out of gas, or her car like breaks down in the middle of nowhere, and she finds herself in the most perfect, cute little town. It is straight out of her favorite romance novel, and everything in the town is just so perfect except for the grumpy bookstore owner. I think she's trying to figure out why he's so grumpy and almost try and fix his like grumpy character. So this sounds really cute. I feel like it's gonna be really cute. Next up we have Wild About You by Caitlin Hill. Obviously it's giving off so many fun like mountain hiking vibes. Our main character is Natalie, and basically she loses her scholarship her freshman year of college and ends up getting diagnosed with anxiety. She doesn't know what she's gonna do without the scholarship, and she's nervous because she doesn't really want to take out loans and have that type of debt. So she applies to be on like this adventure show, and it's basically like an outdoorsy reality show, and she gets on it. She goes out there and she is assigned a teammate who is named Finn, who is kind of giving off grumpy vibes. I think it seems like they have a lot of chemistry, and Natalie starts to get nervous that she's falling for him. The premise of it, that takes place like on a reality TV show, I feel like that is so fun. All Roads Lead to Rome by Sabrina Fidel. I love it because of the cover. I love it because they're clearly going to Rome, and that just seems like a vibe. Romance books that take place in Europe, automatically love them. Our main character is Astoria. She lives in Rome because her mom works there as a lawyer, and one day she is getting gelato. She ends up running into this guy Luca, who is like a Scottish heartthrob, and she gets sucked up into like this fake dating scheme with him, and that's what this whole story revolves around. That is so cool, and I'm gonna love it because it takes place in Italy, so I feel like we're gonna hit some really cool landmarks in here. I think it's cool too because it's just about this girl who is kind of on the quieter side. She has anxiety and she ends up fake dating like a celebrity. I feel like that's gonna be so cool. Here for the Cake by Jennifer Milliken. This is another book I was eyeing up at the bookstore a while ago, and then I came home and I ended up receiving it. Our FMC in this is Paisley, and she basically is preparing for her little sister's wedding. Her little sister is marrying her high school sweetheart or her college sweetheart. It's something like that, but basically her little sister is marrying the guy that she was in love with for years and years. So she's trying to figure that out and cope with that because that is just insane. Paisley ends up running into like her college frenemy, and they end up striking up some crazy deal for him to basically be her fake date to the wedding. I already love because it's a fake dating trope, and I love the fake dating trope, but it's also like her college frenemy, so I feel like there's gonna be a lot of really funny and good banter in here. We have Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This was sent to me by Berkeley, and I am so excited for this one. I'm a huge fan of Krista and Becca Ritchie. I love the Addicted series, the Calloway Sister series. On the back it says, starting fresh is the only way Phoebe can escape a life of crime, but her best friend's older brother complicates honest dream in this griping new series from the authors of the Addicted series. Best friend's older brother. We were just talking about a best friend's younger sister, and now we're moving on to a best friend's older brother. I feel like this is already going really well. We have One Last Shot by Betty Coyote, and then this is the Afterlight special edition of it, which I am obsessed with. I think these edges are so beautiful. I love how they like continue on. I just feel like that's so cool. And then the hardcover is stunning. I love hardcovers like this. No words, no text, it's just artwork. I think it is so pretty. This is basically a cutie second chance romance. Basically it's about two people who used to be really close friends, and they made a marriage pact basically by the age of whatever. If they weren't in love or married or with somebody, they would get married to one another. Our FMC Emerson, she's a model, and the reminder on her calendar goes off that she made a pact with this guy. She hasn't talked to him in a super long time, and then she ends up getting booked for a photo shoot that he's actually shooting because he's a photographer. photographer, and she is so excited to see him because she's like, oh my gosh, like we had a marriage pact. And when she actually comes face to face with him, she finds that he's maybe not as excited to see her as she is to see him. We have Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark. This is by Bryn Weaver. Leather and Lark is actually a newer release. It just came out like a few months ago, but I have heard such good things about these books. Basically, they're like romances between rival murderers. I've never read anything about two people who have jobs like that. Next, we have The Wallflower by Sally Louise. This is the Probably Smut Special Edition. Loving the flower vibes. It's kind of giving off like 70 vibes, honestly, with this type of font. On the back, it says, if all the books, paper, and pencils suddenly disappeared from the world tomorrow, I'd be okay with it because you'd still be here. This is another one of those books where I quite literally don't know much about it. I want to say it was last month's Probably Smut edition, so I'll have to look into it and see, but it's giving off really fun vibes. We have 1,000 Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole. This is a arc that was sent to me from Bloom. I hear book one is a real tearjerker. I hear that people like sob reading it, so that's kind of like the main reason I've held off. I don't really like books that make me cry a lot. It's just not my favorite. I do hear it's a really beautiful story, and I know so many people have been waiting for this book, so I have to pick up book one so I can then continue on the story and read this one. This is another arc. It was sent to me from Bindery, and it's called Inferno's Heir by Tiffany Wang. This cover already is so cool and captivating. I feel like there's a lot going on here. What's really cool about Bindery books is they partner with other creators and people, and basically those creators and people will go through and read books like this, and if they really like them, they kind of push for them to like be out in the world. It says here that Vilotaire Books is an imprint of Bindery Books led by Kevin Norman. He acquired Inferno's Heir because he knew this story needed to be in the world. On the back it says, fearing for her life, an outcast princess joins the rebellion against her own kingdom and family, but when playing with fire, someone always gets burned. Next we have Lonely for You Only. Sounds so weird. Lonely for You Only. This is a Lancaster family novel by Monica Murphy. Monica Murphy is one of those authors that I feel like everyone loves. Like, I feel like I've never really seen anything negative about her books or her writing. So I definitely have to get into her books because I literally only hear positive things about them. Next, we have Redeemed by Lauren Asher. This is book 4 in the Dirty Air series. This is from the Larry Reed's collab with Eternal Embers. This is one of her favorite books, and I am living for it. I'm really hoping they do like a complete set of the Dirty Air series because this is so stinking cool. Like, I am obsessed with this edition. And then I also love this back artwork. I think it is perfect, and I feel like this really like showcases the story as a whole. Oh, and then I just noticed on the spine they have a little wish journal doodle, which I think is so cute. Then we have Archer's Voice. This was also a part of the Larry Reed's box. Love this book. It's one of my favorite romances of all time. It's honestly the book that made me fall in love with the small town trope. The details from these covers and this entire collab, it is just so perfect. Next up, we have Light Lark. This is by Alex Astor, and I recently just picked this up the other day, mainly because it's been recommended to me so many times and I've heard really good things about it, but I also just saw that it's being turned into a movie, I believe, and I was like, okay, I have to jump on the train and read this before I see like anything movie wise. Every 100 years, the island of Light Lark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. To survive, Isla Crown must lie, cheat, betray, even as love complicates everything. I've also seen like so much fan artwork made for this series. I've seen so many TikToks of this series, and I'm like, I've gotta check this out because I feel like it's a series I would really like. We are finally on our last pile of books. We have Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. This is her newest romance, and this is the Afterlight special edition. I love the Afterlight editions of her books because I love the character artwork. I just think it's so pretty. It's so cute. It's minimalistic. I also love like the actual character artwork. I feel like that's exactly how I envision the characters when I'm reading the books. We have a little ice skating scene in the back, which is so adorable. Allie Hazelwood is another one of my favorite romance authors. We have How the King of Elfham Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. What I really love about this is that it's actually illustrated. This is basically all about Cardan as a child and how he kind of grew to become the cruel prince and the wicked king. Just flipping through the pages, there's so much beautiful artwork. Next up, we have The Bully by Sophie Lark. This is another special edition from Eternal Embers. I didn't know it was coming signed, but when it did, I was so excited about it. But this is basically her spin-off series from the Brutal Birthright series, and the series revolves around all the kids of the parents who fell in love during the Brutal Birthright series, if that makes sense. The next 3 books I have are part of the If Love series by Anna Hong. I've been collecting them as they've been rolling out by Bloom. Love these sprayed edges. I think that's really cool. I have not read these books. I've read every other book by her except these ones, and I believe these ones were her first books that she ever wrote. So very excited to try them out and hop into them. Next up, we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the Fairy Loot special edition. I love this edition so much. Divine Rivals, which is book 1 in this duology, that was the book to actually get me into special editions last year. The Owl Crate edition and the Fairy Loot edition, stunning, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I know a lot of people are kind of iffy on this artwork, but in my opinion, I am obsessed with it. The details, the black and white, the pages all over are so beautiful. I also love the foiling on it. I feel like it really stands out against the black and white. And then, of course, we have the most beautiful edges ever. The inside artwork is also just so pretty. Foiling is gorgeous. I think the character artwork is gorgeous. All of the little details here. I love the typewriter. Last year, Divine Rivals was my favorite book of the year alongside Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So this was a very exciting book for me to receive. Next up, we have The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. This is a Fairy Loot special edition. Absolutely stunning. I don't believe I've shared it on my channel at all. Foiling in the hardcover is my absolute favorite though. A lot of the time with Fairy Loot, I actually prefer the hardcover to Dust Jacket. And then this artwork is so pretty. I love that they put foiling inside their books. I just think it is the coolest thing. And then in the back, we have our MMC. The reverse Dust Jacket though is actually really cool. I might change it up. Next up, we have Evocation by S.T. Gibson. This book I recently got as well. I think the edges on this one are really, really cool. This is another one I recently got. This is by Sophie Kim, and I actually love the cover of this. I think it is so beautiful. It's so colorful and like vibrant. These edges are really fun, and then the back is really cool too. On the back it says, he's a fallen god, she's a shape-shifting fox. They'll do anything to outsmart each other, anything except fall in love. This is the hardcover. Absolutely stunning. And then the inside artwork I also love. It's so, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the back is even prettier. Next, we have The Darkness Within. This is by Trisha Levenseller, and I am so excited to read this book. This was a book that I had pretty high on my list. This is the hardcover. Absolutely stunning. The edges are so beautiful. I feel like it just pairs so well with everything. And then the inside artwork, absolutely stunning. My Husband is Taking Too Long to Die. I remember reading that and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Like, I have to read that book. A clever and deadly heroine who is just as much a beauty as a beast. By hiding her intelligence and ambition behind the mask of a beautiful, air-headed girl, she has become a wealthy duchess. And once her elderly husband dies, she will have all the freedom and money she's ever wanted. Or so she thought. A man claiming to be her husband's estranged grandson has turned up to steal her inheritance, and to make matters worse, her little sister Alessandra is about to become queen. But this is book 2. Book 1 is The Shadows Between Us. Next up, we have A Tempest of Tea. This is the Owl Crate special edition, which I don't know if you guys can see. It's a little bit on the darker side, but my friend actually gifted this to me because she received another copy of it because this one came damaged. The Owl Crate edition of this book is so so cool. The front says the Festival of the Night Charity Auction Blood Companion. And then the inside artwork is just insane. Like top tier, absolutely stunning. The foiling. This is another book that I have just heard such good things about too. Then we have the Owl Crate edition of Evocation by S.T. Gibson. Owl Crate and Fairy Loot did this book the same exact month, I think, so that's why I have a double of it. I think both editions are really cool, but I feel like if I had to choose, I would probably choose the Fairy Loot. Next up we have the Full Tilt Duet. These are special editions from Eternal Embers. I think they were last month. They're by Emma Scott. Book 1 is Full Tilt, book 2 is All In. And I have never read anything by Emma Scott before, but she is an author I hear such good things about. Like, so many people rave about her. This is what the edges look like. The inside artwork is also really cool. I like that there's little quotes in there. I think that's just really, really cool. If I'm remembering correctly, I think the stories are about brothers. These are really cool editions. They're also hardcovers, which I think is really, really nice. Next up, we have another copy of A Tempest of Tea. This is the Fairy Loot edition that I received in like my monthly subscription box, and I love this one so much. I think it is absolutely stunning. Love the sprayed edges. I think this is so pretty. The foiling on the folded part of the dust jacket, I love that. I think every book should do that. Then we have Darker by 4. This is by June C.L. Tan. This is a really cool cover. This is from Fairy Loot, and it says on the back here, the boy straightens and looks up at flickering stars in heaven. Then he steps forward to the edge of the parapet, puts one foot out in the air, and disappears. These are the edges. Absolutely stunning. I keep saying that about all these books, but truly they are so beautiful. But the hardcover foiling, love this. The vibes are immaculate. It sounds very interesting, not gonna lie. And then this is supposed to be part of a duology. Our last book is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shield. This is so beautiful. It's probably one of my favorite editions that I've received from Fairy Loot. I love the bees and the honeycombs on the edges. I think that is so cool, and it really sticks out when it's on my shelf. Obviously this cover is like giving off such cool cottagecore type of vibes. And then the hardcover, the inside artwork is so beautiful. I'm loving the details. Again, Fairy Loot does such a good job with their artwork, I feel like, except this one did come a little beat up. But that is it though for today's book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. That was a lot of books to go through. I think when I counted earlier, it was like 54, somewhere around there. It was over 50 books. So that was a ton of books to go through. And then again, obviously these are books that I've kind of been collecting since the beginning of the year. So we're like 7 months into the year. This is 7 months worth of books that I've been collecting, books that have been sent to me, stuff like that. I feel like it's an okay amount. Leave a comment down below if you saw any of your favorite books in today's video. And now I have to get planning for all the reading vlogs we're going to do with all of these books. But I love you guys so, so much. Doing what I do and having books sent to me wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you for all of your love and support over the past few years, and I will see you guys in the next one.